City Soccer Podcast. Whether inside or outside the loop, we are talking everything soccer in Houston. Y'all ready? Let's get it.
Guys, how's it going? A halftime show, or I guess a halftime show, right? For somebody,
show,
for
yeah,
some
man.
people, right? But yeah, we're here with Rudy. We're here with David. We're at pitch 25 right now, guys. We're watching the Atlanta. The Seattle-Houston game over there. Obviously, game 1 tonight, game 2 next Sunday. But yeah, first 45 minutes. Any thoughts that you may have, Rudy?
Yeah, no, honestly, it's been a pretty interesting game overall. I think it's more or less what a lot of people expected. The Dynamo trying to get a lot of the ball possession. The field itself has been a little tricky to navigate for a lot of these guys. I mean, we saw, especially in the first 10, 15 minutes, a lot of slip and falling from the Houston Dynamo. But they've kept possession. They're trying to find a way to break Seattle, who, like the Dynamo, actually, they are the best defensive team on the MLS. So it's a tough task to ask, man.
Exactly, yeah. Like you were saying, you mentioned it. Yeimar, the defensive player of the year. Obviously, they're going to have a tough time to kind of break through that line. If you want, we can kind of go down line by line if you want, and we kind of break it down. If you guys are in the comments, we are live. Leave us your comments in there. We'll try to look at them and catch up to them.
Yeah, so you want to start with Seattle or you want to start with
no, let's just do the Dynamo.
Yeah, obviously, it's a lineup. It's a lineup that we obviously know, right? There's no surprise on who was getting a start. Escobar obviously gets the left back position back after the suspension. Again, it's copy and paste to a lot of the lineups we've seen. Clark has been very good. He had like 1 or 2 saves. Definitely one acrobatic one. It looked like it was going in, man. Yeah. I'm sure that made you kind of, shake a little bit and think, just a tad as a Houston Dynamo fan for sure. Dorsey has been playing very well. Obviously, it gets to the point that you see him push a lot. And surprisingly, they've defended well with him going so far up. With Inuhu and Red Rock, who's, we know who that is. So, what have you seen of Red Rock so far? Red Rock, sorry.
He hasn't been, too much dangerous. Obviously, he's just there. He's kind of like that pesky, annoying little kid that you just have around, and you want to kick him in the face. When it comes to those dead balls, that's what we were talking about. That I'm not really worried about Seattle attacking. They haven't had much, to be honest. But when it comes to those dead balls, those corners that they had 5, I believe, or just like fouls around the area, that's when those guys kind of become dangerous in a way, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Rothko, he also can be sneaky. They're trying to, I think, Dustin had that conversation with the Seattle guy. I forgot his name.
That was a great conversation.
A lot of insight, honestly. If you guys haven't heard it, I would go listen to it. But he talked about how Seattle was going to try to look for the back of the center backs, right? Look at the back of Mikael at the back of Eric.
Yep.
And we saw one ball that kind of tried to go through there. And what's his face? The forward.
You're talking
Morris.
about,
Morris
Jordan.
wasn't able. He didn't get a grasp of the ball, but that could have been dangerous. But honestly, I think overall Houston has played a better game.
Yeah.
With just like little sparks of Seattle in there.
Yeah. Again, I think no surprise for how the game is going so far. The difficulty is going to be breaking down their defense. Aliu has looked a little bit off at times. Bassi has definitely looked a little off sometimes. It seemed that he could have an easy pass, and he goes back with it. At the end of the day, the one thing that we've seen, not just this season but last season, Christian, is the fact that a lot of the players don't go and take a shot, right?
Yes.
I mean, everybody sees the opportunity of there being a shot. Ben has talked a lot about this, about how well trained his players are of realizing where there's a big opportunity for them to take a shot or not. It's kind of annoying as a fan, as an outsider, because you want to see some shots, be taken in dangerous spots. But the team is playing absolutely well, man. So I'm excited. The team again right now, but you look at the defense. I mean the subs. Who you bring in? Who can change the game for you, right?
I mean, yeah. Honestly, at this point, in my opinion, humble opinion, Aliu is not he's not giving that extra. You know, a lot of people talk about his defensive work, and we're not going to hear and criticize his defensive work because it's great. But you have him there as an attacker, right?
Right.
So then you're going to start looking at your guys, and the usual suspects are going to be Schmidt, Gaines, and what's the bald-headed guy?
Kovalchik, obviously too. Kovalchik,
Liverpool legend,
Brad Smith.
Brad Smith. See, one of those three might be an option there. Me personally, I don't know. I'm leaning towards Schmidt a little bit more. I feel like he goes a little bit forward, a little bit more.
I will say though, just the way that the game is going, this is the game that I could see Ben like stick out. Like basically not do any subs anytime soon, unless someone is injured that we didn't realize. Obviously, it's a Achi hasn't played 90 minutes yet.
Yeah, true.
There's some questions, obviously, and does the field itself, how hard it is on the players. Now, if everybody is 100% right now at halftime, I wouldn't see him making any subs all the way to the 80th unless he has to, right? Unless Seattle opens up the score, then I could see him changing 100%. That. But in the way that his team is playing, they're playing well.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to mess with what you have if nothing needs to be changed. But
the question really is at this point is, I think if you're Ben Olsen and you're watching this game, at least in my opinion, right? Like you said, keep it as is. 0-0, go to PKs, and then, take your luck there.
Right.
In my opinion, I wouldn't want to go to PKs because it's not that I don't trust in Clark, but I just don't see a lot of potential there, right? I see a lot of potential in the guys kicking.
Yeah.
I think we have some really good shot taker or penalty takers. But, and the other side, I would be glad if Clark could shut me up.
Taking the game to penalties is such a good response in general, right? Because you want the team to win. If they can win, great. Now, if they lose, at the end of the day, you still have one more game to play. So, the game's about to restart here. Houston is trying to look for that win, man, at Seattle. That's never happened. Yeah. What's your opinion? What's your prediction still for this match, man?
I think we're going to keep going like this, and at the end of the game, Dynamo is going to – I think Seattle's going to open up a little bit looking for the win because they're at home, and I think Dynamo is going to surprise. So 1-0, easy win, simple on the road, and this is a good song.
Yeah, and just to close it out, man, obviously we're here at Pitch 25. Obviously Brian Ching, has opened his doors for this opportunity. And we want to thank, obviously, the Houston communication team, John B. They know who they are. For the opportunity to be here and cover the team. So game on. We'll see you on the other half.
We'll see you after the game, guys. Stay tuned. Slow, loud, banging, all in my trunk full